Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Student Fee Committee debates. I'm Sophia Francis. I am currently serving as the chair of both the Elections Committee and the Judicial Review Board Chief Justice. These debates are an opportunity where our student population can truly be informed on those they're electing and for candidates to expand on their aims, visions, or objectives for their term of office. The Student Fee Committee is a recognized body of ASPSU responsible for recommending student fee allocations to ASPSU and the university president. Today we have Rae Fickle moderating our discussions. Following the debates, we'll open the floor for audience questions. You can either ask your questions directly or jot them down on the materials available at the check-in table. Each candidate will be given 2 minutes to answer each question, and candidates have 1 minute to rebuttal. If you'd like to rebuttal, please use the buzzers provided. Now I'll hand over the floor to our candidates to introduce themselves, beginning with Quadri.
Hi everyone, my name is Taiwo Kodri. I'm in the master's program, Geography, and this is my first year, so I'm running for the Student Fee Committee member. So I'm so happy to be here. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. My name is Eduardo Alexis Diaz, or as always, call me Eddie. And I am a business student focusing on human resources. And this isn't my first time running in ASPSU as I did the last year. This year, I'm running for both student fee committee member and as well as for senator as well. And what I hope to achieve to be part for student fee committee member is just that I want to bring change and as well as just allocate the the fee funded areas that's just sorry. My goal is for the student fee committee member, being part of the SFC is that I want to allocate as much with the fee funded areas and as well as with the areas need funding so that we wouldn't have to compromise for the students' benefits. And also I am part for the Voices for Action slate.
Hi all, I'm Sneha. I'm majoring in electrical and computer engineering. This is my first year in PSU. I'm running for both senator and student fee committee elections. I want to take up this position because it's important. This position gives me an overview or a position where I can understand how the PSU is working and how the the fee structured and how the students are aware of doing, how they're getting to know all the things they're paying in. So, yeah.
Awesome. Thank you, guys. Okay, we'll get started.
Hi, everyone. Just to reaffirm, my name is Rae, and I'll be your moderator for today's debates. We have quite a few questions to get through, so I'll go ahead and I'll get us started. The first question for all candidates. What do you believe the role of ASPSU is, and how is that role valuable?
Oh boy. We're trying to go. Oh boy.
Okay, I'll go with this. I want to be a member of ASPSU because, as it says, it's a associate student Portland State University. As a student here, I would like to, know how the student committee body is. I want to, I want to experience it myself, and I want to, spread the working of the PSU and how the PSU actually works and how the culture and how the working of, the main stuff that's going inside the PSU. I want the students to get to know and experience. I want to in-depth tell them and make an awareness, spread an awareness about the PSU board. As I'm running for both SFC and senator position, as the student fee committee mainly focuses on the fee structure and maintaining on the financial stuffs. I want all the students to know about how their fees is distributed and how they're managing.
Okay, let me go. I'll start first by talking about the city as a whole. Less knowledge serve the city. So I'm actually here to study and as well to experience campus life, to be involved in everything. And currently, I'm actually volunteering with the Student Sustainability Center. We have done a lot of initiative talking about eco greening within the campus, and as a matter of fact, I just want to get involved in the student union government because I'm actually an international student, and it's something I've been doing for a while before coming down here. And I have to give back to the community where I belong. So studying here in America, it's a privilege. So I just have to contribute my humble quota towards the development of the PSU community. So I look forward to engaging my fellow students on how to bring about equitable, student fee system and all that. So I look forward to, putting my best in doing that. And I look forward to working with my fellow student fee committee members, eventually if I emerge. So, just to actualize our set objectives. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. All right.
The next question.
Oh,
Oh.
you technically skipped me, so you give in.
Sorry. Go ahead if you'd like to go.
Yeah, just before and okay. One of the reasons why I'm running for being part for student fee committee member and as well as just being part for senator is that what I agree with Sneha that I do want to make it be an active role in distributing and as well as just allocating the fee funded areas because as what Sneha said and as well as for me because I was part of the system last year and one of the major things that we just need to make sure that the students know is that how the fees are being distributed each time when they enter first at Portland State University, whether it be locally, out of state or international. We need them to know what fees are applied and how they how does it allocate to our to our fee funded areas. Additionally, another thing why I want to sorry about that. One of the reasons why I've decided I want to continue, why I want to run for student fee committee member is that I want to to know more about this position, not just simply the base term, but more have an active voice, when allocating the funds for to provide students with what resources and what needs they need to do what they want to not want but what they need to be successful in PSU. And hopefully, once elected, hopefully I work alongside with all the other candidates here once the deadline's up, and hopefully we can continue what we can do to support the student engagement. Thank you.
Thank you. The next question for all candidates. What personally motivates you to be involved in student government?
Can I go first?
Absolutely.
Generally, it's talking about student welfareism, affordability of those fees. And me personally, being an international student, I don't know if this is, actually in line with the SFC role. We are meant to pay the SHAC fee, which is a burden for most international students. And I see this position or this platform for me to, advocate for these voices in order to, to talk about the SHAC fee, which is a burden to me as an international student because most of us, and as well as graduate employees too, we have to pay this, which is quite challenging, So, and aside that, talking about the tuition, incidental fee, building fee, and all of that. So we are looking way forward to, at the same time appropriate this budget and as well as make it affordable for everybody, be it in-state student, out-state student, international student, and what have you. Thank you.
So I want to begin the position because this is a great opportunity for me to develop a leadership qualities and represent the student body, and I think it has a great impact on the campus, and also it's every student has a different opinions and perspectives and things that they want to share, and I'm always a person who patiently waits. Listens to student, and I want to help them in all the ways I can. So yeah.
All right. Do you mind asking the question once again?
Absolutely. What personally motivates you to be involved in student government?
My main motivation to be part for student government is that I want to increase student engagement on on all the areas, whether it be just be regular students, business students, athlete students or athletes, and as well as with the incoming transfer and first years as well. And what I want to see is that I want to increase the engagement, because over that I've seen after I left, there wasn't that much cohesiveness, and as well as just engagement with students. I mean, we've seen people being cohesive with the student groups, which I think it's a good development. But I want to see a good cohesion between all these types of groups, so that we can listen to their voice, what they want to what we can to improve the situation, as well as just let them have their opinion being heard, rather than not just having them being ignored. And also, and lastly, why it's important to me, because I want to bring change, and as well as just bring back that cohesiveness that we had over the last how it was last year, like that united front with you just building relationships and just having to know where you can to interact, as well as with build with trust and with the student body.
Thank you. Our next question for all candidates. Can you please explain your slate platform, or if you are running independently, your individual platform?
So I'm in the state Voices of Action, me and Abby are in the same state. So our state goal is to have student low parking fee.
It's a low parking fee, because over the years that a lot of us who have to go through commute, it's gotten too expensive, and it's not enough to park our cars, because given how the city of Portland is, with that expensive whopping fee, just with for a year, or I don't know, for a term, it can be quite the challenge, just to get to school, having with those parking fees in the way.
Also lowering the tuition fee, but also keeping up the quality of education. And also, I think those two were the two important main things that we are supporting in our state. So, I think you want to join?
Yeah.
You want to continue with the objective of our state?
Yeah. Sorry.
In an objection to what my fellow contestant said, my voice is lost.
Looks like we were just trying to bring up the level of We'll hold time until the microphone is on.
Okay.
Take your time.
I'm actually under the PSU for You slate, which is a very great platform, and which I'm very proud to identify with them. And most of the candidates on that slate are, experienced. Talking about most of them have served on the last administration, which I believe and I've seen what they've done during the last administration. And in respect of what my fellow constituent said, talking about lowering our parking fee, I studied geography. I know about environmental sustainability. I think it's not really a good idea to do that, we can all subject our students to public transit, which is, sustainable, affordable, it's convenient to get to school with this public transit. Lowering this fee for parking fee will cause a lot of, traffic congestion, which is not really good for the ecosystem, if you know what I mean. So.
And that's time.
Moving back to work.
And then would you like to conclude your 2 minutes?
Yeah, we were about to just went to the last sentence. That's it.
Go ahead and complete your last sentence.
Yeah, also we are planning to increase the number of events on campus, and also, engage other students, and, have more cultural events and, yeah, stuff like that.
Beautiful. Thank you so much. And then would you like to,
Yeah,
I can repeat the question if that would help.
it's okay, it's okay. Yeah, PSU for you is actually, you're gonna work relentlessly on, bringing together student group and the student union government. By doing that, we have the capacity to reach out to every student. Like, we need to hear from them every time. We are open to every complaint request in order for us to push our work further. We are aiming at working together with, starting from the president, the vice president, the senators, and the SFC member. So we're just going there to serve every student, but in order to, bring about the welfareism of every student. Thank you.
Thank you. And that's 1 minute on the clock for rebuttal.
Yeah. Honestly, well, I agree what you have to say, and honestly, there is one. There are some concerns in regards to how your goals could influence, but how will it increase like the student engagement and the cohesiveness in some areas, or given that you can accept with the with the complaints, with the opinions and as well as the ideas, how would it how can increase with the student cohesion?
Yeah, let me say our government is going to be very democratic. Everybody has an opinion. Whatever you want, whatever you need, bring it to us. We deliberate together in order to bring out the best of decisions, in order to make everything happen peacefully. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you all. Next, we'll ask some questions specific to each slate. The first question is for Yamini, Sneha, and Eddie. The first question. How do your values align with the Voices of Action slate? What are the main issues you believe you'll be able to address within your role with the SFC?
No, you go ahead. Go ahead. I'll follow up.
Can you just repeat that question again?
Absolutely. So the question, how do your values align with the Voices of Action slate? And what are the main issues you believe you'll be able to address within your role with the SFC?
Okay. As I made a point on campus events and stuff. Yeah. So as a student fee committee, I make sure that all the events and all the all the cultural events get their adequate amount of budget, so that you can they don't have to hinder or sacrifice anything for the event.
Yeah, like kind of like with having to pay out of pocket to fund those events. That I've noticed.
Yeah. So I think it is very important to budgeting the events and also making sure that all the campus events are going accordingly, and the committees are making sure that they have a proper places and other required materials that they need to take care of. And currently I see that PSU is doing really great when they're organizing an event. But I see that students can't make up to the event, and there is a lot of I see that students are not noticing about the events that are happening on campus, and they need a lot of
Guidance.
Yeah, guidance and students need to get to know that there are events happening in the campus or on the campus. So it's
That they can get involved and
yeah.
co-invest with, as well as get to know new people, and as well as making new relations.
Yeah. Oh, also, as being a student fee committee member, it is my responsibility that the students get to know all these events, and I make sure that more students come and enjoy the events. And
Well, also we're not sacrificing with the with our fee-funded areas as well.
Thank you. The next question, which is for Sneha and Eddie. Some of your fellow slate members, Venkatesh and Naveen, are graduating in winter of 2025 and may not complete their full term in ASPSU. If elected, this could affect your ability to vote on important decisions requiring a supermajority of 6 votes or a unanimous vote of 7 votes. How would you ensure that ASPSU and the SFC leadership can fill these vacant positions? Do you have any concerns about their candidacy despite their incomplete term of service?
I'm sure that we're gonna do great with the current members or the slate members we have. We would also consider Venkatesh's decision until he's in the position, and later me and my slate members are gonna make a decision that's gonna be in favor of Venkatesh as well. So since he'll be graduating, and it's only the other slate members who will be in charge of making decisions, and so I think the committee and the group will stay the same, and there's not gonna be any other different changes in the decision making. We're gonna keep up all the promises we made, and
As well as keep up to date with the votes that needed to to make with the decisions for the fee-funded areas as well.
Thank you. The next question is going to be for Quadri.
Okay.
How do your values align with the PSU for You slate? And what are some key issues you believe you'll be able to address within your role with the SFC?
Thank you. As the name implies, PSU for you and me, sense of place, Getting to meet my fellow contestants and other people I identify with PSU for You slate. I have a place in there, being an international student, which I really like. It's for me and you, PSU for you. And for the SFC position, I look forward to, be part of preparation of accounts. Like last year, the accounts read about $11 million. So working with other fellow SFC members, we are looking forward to, if we can actually, actualize that same amount, we look forward to bring that forward, like more of that. So talking about budgeting process, we look forward to, make funds available for student group in order to, reach out to fellow students like you and I, just to actualize our self-objectives of coming to study here and at the same time, enjoy the campus life and all that. Thank you.
Thank you. And thank you all for answering those slate-specific questions.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for asking those. We appreciate it.
Of course. We're going to go ahead and transition back to some more just general questions for candidates to respond to. The next question. What are the core duties and functions of the Student Fee Committee? And how does the SFC's work impact the broader PSU community?
Okay, I want to go first.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
One of the core responsibilities, budgeting process, just about to allocate funds for the student group and other student-related areas. Talking about appropriation of accounts, you have to be very transparent in financial reporting and all that. So, and also consistent communication between all other students representatives and all of that. So in form of student request, we are there to put that forward to the appropriate desk. And per se, generally just talking about the student-funded areas per se, like how you have to see to that, make sure everything is intact, and you have to be professional about that. You have to be transparent. You have to be, very reliable and all that in reporting those student fee areas. Thank you.
As a student fee committee, it is important, as the fellow said, that maintaining the transparency is important. Along with that, SFC committee should make an assessment about the budgeting, and also a long-term planning is important. It's also like you have a communication with the other candidates.
The candidates, as well as we have to, with the student groups for the funding, as well as our, our other organizations, which I know of, IAB Intercollegiate Athletics Board, which it's also a major part of our, of the student fee committee, which part of their budget kind of comes to it over there. And
so we have it's our task to make sure that we have a proper assessment of the previous year auditing or the financing, how it went, and you get an idea from the previous, and you notice that where you lag behind, and making sure that you learn from your wrongs, and you just incorporate the new proper planning for the long term achievements.
That, and maintain with the with the budget given with the board as well, on how to allocate efficiently with the fee funded areas, childcare, transportation, and as well as our student rec as well.
Thank you.
Thank you.
The next question. This role requires a commitment of 8 hours per week, 2 hours of Senate meetings, and 6 hours of SFC meetings. Member turnover can impede the SFC's ability to function. Are you prepared to serve for the entire 2024-2025 academic year, attending all required meetings? What are some potential roadblocks to your involvement, and how would you take steps to address them?
Can I go first? I think one of the core skills I've actually scaled up when I got to PSU was time management. So because, I've done a lot of stuff like volunteering activities and all that alongside my academic life. And of course, I'm pretty much out there, like I involve in many things. I play soccer, I do everything, So I have time to, to engage potentially in this role, and I look forward to give it my all, in attending those meetings and, the core responsibilities of the role. Thank you.
Yeah, as I'm a graduate student, it's very important me to, do the time management, because I have to manage my studies and, all the project works and stuff that's go along. As I have to dedicate like 8 hours in a week, I make sure that I have like a schedule that goes along with the meetings, and I make sure that I have a time that's allocated for the meetings, and I can make up in person and not over the Zoom. So yeah.
Kind of agreeing with
Sneha.
Sneha said. Well, currently, given that I'm not part for student government, but now given if I'm elective, given that my academic life, which I'm soon to be a graduate undergrad, I think I would be, because I'm actually available almost every day, given how I make time to commit to my academic life, my club network, as well as with my other extracurricular activities. And given that how it is structured, I think it's really good for me to deal, because I actually share with both my opponent and as well as my other fellow candidate that I do kind of have that trouble with time management, but I'm soon improving with it, given that how if there's a structured time, I was how we can how we can meet, then I'd be able to meet with those. But even if I do miss out, I tend to get involved what I've missed, what decisions that were involved, and how we've previously agreed on, and how I can give you my vote on that I agree or disagree or abstain. And lastly, yeah, that was it. Sorry.
Thank you for being thorough.
I have a point. I would like to, be in person with the meetings, because these meetings are like a, stepping stone for my professional development, and also for me to make a point on the whatever the discussions we are currently going on. So yeah, I would never feel this is a burden for me, but yeah, I would like to, be in person with all the meetings that's happening by the ASPSU board.
Thank you. We'll move on to the next question. What strategies will you use to ensure that your personal beliefs don't hinder your ability to both represent and meet the needs of the entire student body at PSU?
Can I go first?
Yeah. Go.
Yeah, I think one of the most important things that attracted me to PSU is the diversity, equality, and equity and inclusiveness. I mean, it's really good, and I have those values as they are very important to me, and I look forward to push that forward in whatever dealings I find myself in this position. Everybody has the equitable right to express themselves, to air their opinion and all that. So I look forward to, holding on to that tightly. Thank you.
Thank you.
So I believe in the feedback mechanism, so I would ask the students to give the feedback and take their input and work on the stuff, work on the improvement of the campus. And also, student accessibility is also important. And yeah, I think I would mainly focus on the feedback that the students are giving me to work on. So.
Would you repeat the question for me?
Absolutely. What strategies will you use to ensure that your personal beliefs don't hinder your ability to both represent and meet the needs of the entire student body at PSU?
What I'm trying to hope for, which I agree with my fellow students, Sneka, that the feedback mechanism, and as well as the the prior opinions given, that when we're gonna make this decision, like here's an example. If we're gonna make a decision, we need to listen what's gonna be the initial plausible short-term, long-term effects. If it's gonna be carried forward, like how would it affect with the fee funding areas, or how would it affect with our with our school, because we want to I wanted to make sure the decisions that are going to be made can actually benefit with the school. Well, we can can deal with a little bit of the consequence of the impact of the decision. Well, lastly, just making sure, after the decision is moved on, we work with the shortcomings as well as the plausible negative impacts that would hinder, as we would continue to make improvements on the decisions that we've done to better help, and as well as just allocate for the most critical areas, and while also upholding the DI, all the frameworks the school has.
Thank you. The next question. In what ways would you convey the needs of the student body at PSU to PSU administration?
Could you repeat that question?
Absolutely. In what ways would you convey the needs of the student body at PSU to PSU administration?
Yeah, I think effective collaboration plays in here. Whatever the students want, it's our responsibility to push it forward to the PSU administrators. Then we deliberate on matters on how to bring about student referrals. So we have to collaborate. We are the student representative. So we need to, talk to the administrators on how to bring about a better student life for every student. Thank you.
I would have a regular updates from the students. I mean, I would like, whether it be social media or a newsletter, I want students to get to know what exactly is happening in the student body or ASPSU. And also, that one point I have, and yeah, you can think of it.
Yeah, the one point that you think of.
Yeah, like you have another point, is it?
Yeah. Can you repeat the question really quick?
Absolutely. In what ways would you convey the needs of the student body at PSU to PSU administration?
I would say just having to, do a little bit of, for what I've heard, just tabling to understand what concerns they have, what, in case if they have worries, what's going to happen with the, with the upcoming decisions that we're going to vote for the administration, and as well as just given that we need to make cohesive, collaboration with our student affairs, administration, because we are student leaders and we want to bring change to not bring change to uphold their sense of security, to think we're actually just we're just hearing their concerns and how we can improve on it. Additionally, given that for example, let's say in case if there's going to be a new let's say a new proposal being implemented, how how would it help them, how will it for example will it help with them just being more successful, or how will it impact their success as well? Because you have to bring in comment that we have to think about the plausible effects of how is it going to benefit the students, the faculty, and as well as with the administration moving forward.
We would also take student surveys and prioritize their needs and stuff.
Thank you. The next question. What knowledge or experience do you have in managing financial resources that could help you in this role?
Yeah, like I've said, I'm an international student. I studied in Nigeria, and in the past couple of years, I have certification in business administration and management, national diploma, and of course, I've delved into a lot of financial critical thinking and appropriation and all of that. So I believe those skills are, kind of exceptional for me to go about this role, and I look forward to, putting that forward. Thank you.
Thank you.
So I'm here for my master's on student loans. So it's it's always on my head on how I manage my finances and how all my expenses are carried out. So in that way I get to know how exactly I have distributed the amount for my monthly expenses, and my monthly expenses are divided in such a way that I have a certain amount saved for the future months or the further months. So it's important carrying down that stuff, maintaining and budgeting from the start, and as I said before as well, that having a long-term planning is important when it is a financing. So that's my point.
Can you repeat the question?
Absolutely. What knowledge or experience do you have in managing financial resources that could help you in this role?
Based from my experiences and my skills, that I am currently a business student now, which I've been involved with multiple areas and managing with the resources, and as well as with the employees, given the recent experiences I've been through, and as well as dealing with the financial affairs, because we do want to make allocate the fees to to the funding areas where it's critical, but not compromising the amounts of it, because given from me, we want to make sure that we have that long-term planning, and as well as just the plausible planning needed to so that we could effectively fund those areas, because given that I'm part of business family, given that my family was a truck driver, we do kind of have to allocate the costs, and as well as with the fees going into these for the areas, because when crucially funding these areas, we need to ensure that the areas are properly funded without having to lose with it's not enough to cover for what's needed to be for them to be developed. Thank you.
Perfect. Thank you. The next question. In what ways do you think ethical decision-making could be important within this role with the SFC?
Yeah. You know, talking about finances, there's what we call accounting principles. You know, which I mean, they are just there for you as guidelines to take up this role. You know, talking about debit side, the credit side, and all of that, how it works. You know, balance sheet, cash book, and the likes, ledger, and all of that. So there are principles to what we are there to do, like accounting principles and conventions. That is what I intend to go by. Thank you.
Could you repeat the question for me, please? Sure.
In what ways do you think ethical decision-making could be important within this role with the SFC?
Well, can you repeat that one more time? I'm so sorry, Sophia.
No need to be sorry.
Well, would it be all right if we jointly, explain? Well,
Do whatever you need to do.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Would you like me to repeat the question?
Yeah, for us.
In what ways do you think ethical decision-making would be important within this role?
I think ethical decisions making for being part of our student fee committee is crucial because we can't jump into let's say how about we implement this decision and we can't, then the person goes like, oh yeah, we totally agree, but for my sake I'd say we need to hold off because we need to see how is it going to benefit, how is it going to prove going to be an advantage or a disadvantage, for the other sides of both parties. Both the person who wants to implement and the other person that's going to think is it going to work or is it not going to work? Because you have to consider carefully, given that with previous and as well as the current administration decisions, that can basically impact with the student body and as well as with the board. Because if we would have done my way of doing of method is carefully, methodically thinking about with the the ins and not the ins and outs, the pro and cons of the decision, how how would it benefit, how would it it would put them in a disadvantage.
I'm sure that in a committee there are gonna be a diverse opinions on a topic, so it's very important you listen to everyone and you make sure that everyone's are heard, and you come to as a slate or as a team, you make sure that you think about a situation where you are, whatever the thoughts or whatever the opinions you get in, you make sure that you have them, you make sure that all the other committee members are standing by to a one decision that's made by the slate. So when we have such a diverse committee, it happens that students have a lot of opinions and stuff, but we make sure that we get the best ones, and we make sure that we resolve whatever the the issues we have, and we make sure that we have the best decision made by the committee.
Thank you. Broadly speaking, if you're forced to choose between keeping student fees lower and maintaining or improving services for students at greater costs, which way do you lean and why?
Yeah, it's very good to make education affordable, because once it's affordable, it's accessible to all, and I don't want to compare what education looks like here in the US compared to where I came from, but I mean, with its kind of tuition fee or level of expenses, talking about educational funds and all that, I think it's very still very good compared to what we are getting from the institution. So making it affordable for all makes it very accessible to all, irrespective of the societal class. Yeah, thank you.
It's important to do a program evaluation, how the how the other we have a lot of programs in PSU. So each program has like a certain amount of students and certain amount of enrollments currently. And when as the fellow made a point that education should be accessible to everyone, and so when it comes to PSU, we have like a lot of programs that where students are enrolled, and they might not be a full-time student, but we have students who are enrolled to the course. And it's important you have like programs that a student needs to get to know that PSU has this courses going on. And yeah, it's like you spread awareness about the courses and the programs that currently being like the ongoing programs that are happening in the PSU.
Yeah, can you repeat that really quick?
Sure. Broadly speaking, if you're forced to choose between keeping student fees lower and maintaining or improving services for students at a greater cost, which way do you lean and why?
Oh boy, that's a toughie. Well, I kind of like, corporate, I kind of like agree what Stinka said, what my fellow, candidate as well what said. But also, if we would have, kept like tuition lower, I mean, it would benefit some of the students that who have to pay tuition in state, out of state, as well as internationally. But honestly, we would have to do a full analysis with, given that if we would have let's say, reduce tuition so that it'd be more affordable for people to pay, given that they're given in-state in-state like scholarships, and as well as what the tuitions are that would pay for their for the program, as well as having to take out loans as well. But that even if we do reduce the tuition, I mean that would affect with the how like the student services would be like the we have SHAC as well as student rec center, as well as all the all the support areas that our students needed. So even if we do reduce tuitions, we would have to consider doing a program analysis to see what one of those fee funded areas could be cut or could be remain in place, so that so that students would still have access to these resources.
Thank you.
Thank you.
What factors do you think determine if a fee-funded area is valuable? Given the variety of student interests on campus, how would you assess if a program is worth the investment of student fees?
I'll go first. So PSU has like more than 1,000+ scholarships, but students aren't aware of all this scholarship. So I make sure that people have an idea about which scholarship they need to apply for, and which they can be included in, and which they can try to fill in the applications. So it's important that student gets to know about these scholarships, so that if they are interested in a program and that program offers them a scholarship, and if they have a funding that can help them, so student might have a chance of getting into the program, and he might get a fee waiver or something like that. So it's important for a student to know all the free sources we have in the PSU.
Question again.
Sorry, what was it?
Yeah,
Question again, please.
Absolutely. What factors do you think determine if a fee-funded area is valuable? Given the variety of student interests on campus, how would you assess if a program is worth the investment of student fees?
Oh boy. Well, given the determine if we determine whether the what programs, as well as what you said should be determined if should be continuing investing, as well as with the what should be divested. I mean, we would have to we would have to make a full analysis on what programs really need really need the funds more than ever, because given how for example for our business school we've, even with the recent events, like that came into question whether, if we're, if our program is really worth it to, to continue being funded, because we are actually training the next generation of, of people, inheriting these type of positions as well. That, and as well as looking forward to our student-led organizations, which I've heard from a lot of people, say they're working hard to make sure that their club, their passion, what they want to do after school, should be kept alive, because I've heard from other student-led organizations that were close to being, that were massively underfunded, and which I've seen that's for example, PSU Gaming Club, when they do those large scale events, there isn't that enough funding for those type of clubs, which they kind of have to do, they have to use their own resources, which unfortunately a lot of people are not it's kind of hard to come by, to enjoy those type of events. And as well as that, also kind of it's like a double-edged sword in between those. So that's why we need to do a full-scale analysis on what programs we need to to cut and what we need to properly invest on. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, the question is kind of dicey, but I have an approach to it. I'm going to use the yardstick of United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, which are about 17. So working on those goals and talking about programs that align with those goals is very, very important. Talking about climate change, I'm a geography student. I know very much about climate change. So I know much about the environment, the society as well. So, using SDG goals as yardstick for these programs is very key, because it's just talking about the present day need, and at the same time planning for future generations, the posterity to come. So it's very important to use the SDG for our planning and, sort of implementation and all sort of that. So SDG is very key. Thank you.
Thank you. And thank you all for the get closer to the mic. Thank you all for the perspectives that you've shared. And now we'd like to open the floor for audience questions, if folks have any. If you'd be interested in asking a question of our candidates, there's a microphone just off to the right-hand side of the room next to this pillar. If folks could line up if they'd like to ask questions directly.
Hi, everyone.
Hello.
My name's Mitch Brown. I'm one of the veterans at work now. I'm a military veteran here using my GI Bill. I tried to get in contact with the student body government earlier in our first term of fall, and they weren't really interested in talking. They said that the veteran position was covered by the veteran resources officer, and basically that the position was covered. When there's issues with the veteran resource officer, and then, you're not getting a clear message from veterans themselves going to school, and we're not being involved with the conversations or allowed to be part of it. This was the first time that I've been able to see our student body government and hear it. So I just want to ask, I don't know. They're big questions that I don't know if we can answer right now, but how can we communicate? How can we make sure that you're hearing our voices when we're trying to be part of the student body government, and we have, how can we get better communication?
That's a major point that I have to agree on, because you guys I agree what you have to say. Having that lack of communication, that really sucks. But what we're trying to do, our slate, we're trying to restore that type of communication so that we understand on part with the the veteran resources center, understand what veterans like you are going through. Understand?
Yeah, and I think it's not just veteran. It's just just
Like-
us as a community.
Yeah,
just
like
us as a
just-
whole.
yeah,
'Cause
as a
it's-
whole.
Yeah, as a whole, and it's just veterans are. I don't know. It's just our community. It's like our government. It's us that make up the veterans.
Mm-hmm.
So it's us that are here, and we have experience in other ways and things around the world that some of us from different parts of the world can understand, but especially people that haven't been outside of North America cannot. And we have experiences, like I was 10 years in the Navy as a master at arms. That's basically a military police canine unit. I've lived around the world. I've had quite a few things, and I've done some things towards like, hey, I can see some patterns here and some scary things that have happened in, experiences that I've had. How can I have these conversations? And it's hard to have the space and to have these conversations because they're not easy. They're things that might not have exact questions, but being able to talk to you, just say, hey, are you kind of aware? Where's the communication at? Because it's not just like, hey, like us veterans, like, and how we're feeling about it. It's, us as students here at PSU that happen to be a veteran that has experiences wanting to help our university that was started by veterans for us. PSU has a history, and it was started by veterans in World War II in Vanport.
You're right.
So it's
You're right.
like this is like honoring them as well. That's why we have the Vanport building. But it's just, hey, like we're here. Our Veteran Resource Center just got closed again.
Really?
I think they're changing the lights is the thing, more upgrades. But that's kind of where the library is now too. So I know I'm long-winded, but thank you all.
No, you're welcome.
It's just communication, but I hear you.
Yeah, we'll be working hard so that we can.
Thanks for sharing this, so that we can have a proper resource center that works on this and having like as you said, we are sorry that there were nobody to communicate with you and when you needed help. So we make sure that we'll get that done once we are in.
And how can I get the information that way? Because I've been reaching out to contact, and it does seem to stop. So I would like that way we can have that.
First and foremost,
Sorry, please go ahead.
okay. First and foremost, I would like to thank you for your services. Thank you so
Exactly.
much.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Thank you for that.
I think you are more than welcome to reach out. There's our office there. It's very new to me. Like I'm just joining the administration, and my slate PSU for you is just advocating for myself and you.
Awesome.
I'm here to serve. So whenever you need anything, I believe there is a suggestion box very close to the SUG government's door, where you can, drop your complaints, query, or anything, So I think it's very good for you to, to reach out to them often, because we are here to. Okay.
Thank you. I'm sorry, I've never had that happen before. Thank you so much for your kind words. I'll reach out.
Thank you so much. You're welcome.
Well,
For the sake of timing, I'll go ahead and candidates just to get your attention. For the sake of timing, we won't rebuttal community or audience questions.
No
Just-
rebuttal. Oh,
Perfect.
What?
But we do have other questions
Yeah.
that are write-ins from folks. So one member of the audience asks, what's the hardest discussion or debate you have ever experienced?
Personally,
Sorry, what was that?
like personally.
It's an open-ended question, so I think you could respond to it in whatever capacity feels most appropriate.
Want to go first? I've been part of this all my life. I've represented a lot of student leadership position, and I've been there to be queried, so many times, which I know I've give the best of responses. So at the level of the family, I'm the first child, and I have about 6 younger siblings. So I'm accountable to every other person within my family. So I'm there always, to be queried and, keep giving answers to everything, which I think is very much applicable to what we are having right now. So I think that's it.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Would anyone else like?
I actually don't have any debate that was that serious, so. Okay.
Well, one of the most difficult, which I kind of share. I mean, you get something. You were there last year. It was like the transition with with the new slate. Well, I mean, the new way of government and the old way of. That was like one of our major heated discussions. You remember fondly, right, Madeline? Yeah. And yeah, we were, and honestly, it was like it was super transformation to how how heated it was, how how it really how we operate and how we can better engage with the students, and that kind of basically changed my life. How how can we really help and with our students and as well as with our other other community in Portland State.
Thank you. The other audience question we have is, how do you plan to make sure students have access to something that works as a computer and has Wi-Fi, even off campus?
Yeah, I think that's an awesome idea. Within the perimeter of the school, I think I've always been using the Wi-Fi. So I think it's open for discussion. Let me put it that way. So it's a good initiative, and hopefully, if I'm elected, I look forward to working with other student leaders. Just to bring about so many amazing initiatives, and I think this is a good one.
Can you repeat the question, please?
Absolutely. How do you plan to help make sure students have access to something that works as a computer and Wi-Fi, even off campus?
Yeah, we need Wi-Fi everywhere. I mean, since we are always on our phone and we work off campus, and when we are moving from one building to another building inside the PSU, it's important to have Wi-Fi around you. So yeah, I think even our slate would we'll be working on the Wi-Fi stuff. Yeah.
Can you repeat the question?
How do you plan to help make sure students have access to something that works as a computer and Wi-Fi, even off campus?
That would be, oh my God, that's a really deep one. So anything that works as a computer, I'd say, that I've mostly seen as a lot of people are, doing with their, tablets. I mean, that would work. And as well as, having to work, with the campus offline. But I'd say, given the whole research that we have at our disposal, that's why we want to for students and as well as, for people who need the resources more to complete their work, and as well as just, for what they need is they're more than welcome to use them. Even that we even have the Wi-Fi, off campus, not the off campus, in campus as well as guests. But even if I would have to be elected as as part of a student fee committee member, I would work hard on on that giving the resources what people need for how to succeed off campus.
Perfect. Thank you. Just checking the time here. We do have a little bit of time if there's anyone else in the audience that'd like to ask questions of our candidates. I do have a couple more questions here that I'll go ahead and ask. One question for everyone. Each member of the SFC serves as a voting member of ASPSU Senate. With that in mind, what is your experience working in diverse teams to achieve shared goals? And how would you foster an inclusive student government that values opinions, including those different from your own?
So I have a prior experience working as a volunteer in an NGO. So there I I was a fundraiser, and it was my duty to get the I would reach out to the communities, schools, colleges, asking for the funding, and I I did learn stuff back from that, and it's very important for me to communicating and talking to them, and also I served as like a school captain in my school days, so I developed my leadership qualities from there, and it's very important to being a captain. It's very important for you to make a decision that's in the favor of everyone, and the schools agree with you and the other co-mates agree with that. So it's very important you make a neutral point and neutral decision to be in the favor of everyone. Yeah.
Yeah, once again, I'll have to, dwell on my core interest on diversity, equity, and inclusiveness. So at the level of where I stay, I'm an international student. I've never traveled before. This is my first international travel, so I've, make meaningful connections with a lot of persons from all over the world. My roommates is from Pakistan, one is from the US, I have another one that is from Africa, different countries, and we've been like living peacefully, So even at the level of the classroom, I'm the only black person. And I have good connection with everybody. So I believe, we just have to, keep coexisting together in peace and unity. Thank you.
Do you want to repeat?
Yes, I'd be happy to repeat the question.
Yeah. Yeah, sorry with the hand signals.
Oh, no, you're perfectly fine. To repeat the question, each member of the SFC serves as a voting member of the ASPSU Senate. With that in mind, what is your experience working on diverse teams to achieve shared goals, and how would you foster an inclusive student government that values various opinions, including those different from your own?
Yeah, given that my time as a prior senator, which I was involved last year, I'm openly, supportive, and every other, person's opinions, given that, they have, different side, different points of view on this situation. Let's say, there's a solution, how would we implement it? What are your thoughts? And that's why I want to, hear what everybody else has to say. Well, I, listen to what on their perspective, how, their voice can be, heard by others by understanding their, where they're coming from. In addition, because I, worked extensively with previous committees prior before this new administration, and we work in cohesively to bring about with the student engagement that we had in the previous terms. Sorry. And lastly, given that I've made really strong connections both faculty and as well as with our student body, that's why I want to listen into their to their concerns, what how can their voice can be heard even if they're not in the student body, what what voice what their why has their how will their opinion give rise to how we can do better to assist them.
Thank you. We're getting close to the end of the debate, but I have one final question for the candidates. Why are student government elections important? Why should the average PSU student vote?
Yeah, everybody has the right to vote, to elect whoever they want into specific positions. So, and it's very important for every student to be involved in this process because we are going there to, represent every student. So putting us there it's actually a medium for their voices to be heard. Thank you.
Yeah, I agree with that. Every student have every student needs to get to know the campus in and around. So it's important for us to, like voting is important, and getting their votes and we representing them is what the whole ASPSU is. So it's we take in advice from them, we take in all their thoughts and all their words and what they are expecting from the PSU, and what they're actually what are the needs, and what they want us to work with, and what they're expecting from us basically is so we are gonna be like communicators between the student and the ASPSU committee. So yeah.
I'll go ahead and repeat the question. Why are student government elections important, and why should the average PSU student vote?
It's important for the average PSU student to vote because everywhere in campus, like, they actually have a voice to, like, like phone in and just like say what they wanted, like, what they want to see. Like, see, even though our student engagement is really low, but we encourage people to, like, just make a stand and actually, like, what people want to see in a real student organization. Like, what changes can we bring into the table to that we can, like, so we can effectively help them. Because even as I agree with Sneeka, and as well as my fellow, is that every voice matters, right? Why not we can just like talk with them, just like understand what concerns they have, what going through their university life, and what can we bring about, like, what, how will their voice, influence in these, like, in their elections, like, what, what changes they want to see, and how we can, like, how we can deliver them. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, thank you guys. So thank you to everyone who joined us today. Please enjoy the refreshments provided, including pizza. Our next debate is scheduled for Wednesday, May 8th at 4:30 p.m., which will be focusing on our senators. So please come if you can. And then don't forget to cast your vote. So your personalized ballot can be found in your email by searching 2024 ASPSU election ballot. So once again, thank you and have a good night. Thank you guys.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you so much for coming.